Sometimes people wonder, where does my confidence come from? How did I become the way that I am? And what is it that makes me so free, spirited, and joyful on my journey? This is something that I ponder on as well, because even though it's interesting to see now as an older person, the things that I kind of like twisted when I was a child, and not necessarily in a bad way, but how I could take situations that weren't necessarily great and make the most of them. How I would hear things and learn lessons that maybe weren't intended, and how all this came together for my sexual expansion and sexual journey. I'm Latia, and I'm a confidence coach. Sex and attraction are my jam. I really love the idea of how do we sell ourselves as human beings. Like, I find the idea of sex work to be fascinating because it is one where you are literally selling yourself, your time, your attention, your history and experiences and knowledge, and packaging it for someone else to accept or not accept. And there are a lot of implications that go into it, but at its core, entrepreneurship is definitely part of seduction and attraction and relationships, as sex workers strive to find consistent partners or new partners, or to engage people and make them feel as though they're seen, noticed, and heard. It's an emotional labor, and it's something that I feel makes such a difference in the world, because when people feel valued and seen, I believe that destructive nature that keeps showing up can be like calmed down. If you feel loved and seen, there's no reason for you to attack someone or force someone into doing something they don't want to do, because a lot of it, I believe, has to do with managing sexual energy in appropriate ways, understanding that it's just energy. You can redirect it. It might feel intense. You might feel that need for release. And as we can learn to own, control, and work with our sexuality and sexual energy, then we'll be more free to connect with people and not have being turned on or attracted get in the way. Because sometimes when you like someone so much, it makes it very easy to get weird and strange, and not necessarily in like, oh, I'm just quirky strange, but in a, oh my god, don't mess with me, like cringy strange, where people are just like, oh, wow, bye. So when it comes to my journey, I feel like there are a few key themes that come up for me. My mom was definitely a very big starting point. She let us, when I was in the 4th grade, what she would do growing up is whenever I learned something, my sisters would learn it. So I was born 2 years later, like exactly 1 week shy of exactly 2 years after me, my sister was born. And then 3 years after her, so like 5 years after I was born, my other sister was born. So there's like 5-year difference between myself and my youngest sister of my parents' children. So I have other siblings as well, but they're half siblings. So like my mom had a son when I was 12, and my dad had a baby when I was like 22. So she's very little. So when it came to growing up, we would learn things at the same time. So when I was in the 4th grade, my mom decided it was time for sex education. And she read to us books on how babies are made. She talked to us about sex. I remember her saying, sex is fun. It's something that is fun, and it's great when it's shared with someone you cared about. So for me, my framework for sex has always been fun. I did read some things about it in the Bible. I also read the Bible when I was a kid and young. And for me, what I heard in church was reinforced in the Bible, which was God is a loving God, always wants you to have the best. God is a God of abundance. God is a God of his word and amplification. And the more we can honor that God is a parent figure who wants the best for his children, that is like what I got out of reading the Bible. It is a love relationship where God is always forgiving and trying to connect with us. So God never seemed like the source of shame, anger, and fear that people made him out to be. My mom made sex seem like fun and something worth exploring, and she also gave me the period book. So I read the period book, and the worst part of it was speculums. That was the part where I was just like, oh, you want to, no, that's gross. So that, and I had like a fear of penetration growing up. So it's like being penetrated, especially like my vagina, like that is like, ooh, what? no, that's weird. Even though it's like, sex is fun, it's gonna be great. Like, penis is gonna go in. It's like, yeah, cool. And then it's like, but penetration. It's like, wait, that's what you mean? Something, okay, let's sit with that one. So, all of my like sexual fear was more around the fact of like my body being violated more than the fact of like anything else. I guess also blood. So oddly enough, I was very excited to get on my period. My mom was going to take us out for a spa day. It was going to be a treat and a celebration, not anything shameful or wrong. So to have my femininity, my womanhood celebrated, I feel like that also made a difference. So as I've learned from my sisters later, I was the only one who got the spa day and taken out of school to celebrate. And they didn't get that opportunity. But I always find my period to be a time of kind of celebrating being a woman. Like, yeah, sometimes it's uncomfortable. Yeah, I'm bleeding and I hate blood. That is like, ooh, no. Blood and I don't get along. That's part of why I don't watch horror films, in addition to I have too active of an imagination. But my period is something different. It is honoring the cycles of nature, honoring the cycles as a woman, and having this time where my body is just like, we're releasing, we're purging. So even though I myself do not do that, I'm more of a hoarder than I am a surrenderer and letter goer, I honor that my body can do it, that there is a part of me that knows that it is natural and necessary. And even with that, I do these XFactor classes where we learn about dance and feminine movement, slowing down, and really owning your sexuality and power as a woman. And in the classes lately, I'll be like, I'm cranky, leave me alone, like, I'm in a mood. And this happened a couple weeks ago, and the instructor, like a couple weeks after, was like, yeah, you were cranky, but your body wasn't. You had a happy body. And I was like, yeah, my body and I aren't always aligned. My body's just like, everything's fine, we calm, like, she crazy. And my head's like, no, the world is over. This isn't gonna work. I don't understand what's wrong with you people. So it's going to be a fun journey, like aligning and like seeing, like, can I have this mind-body disconnect that I've always felt I've had go away? Let's be integrated. But my mom set up a really good framework for sex and sexuality. Also, she was like, Latia, one day I'm gonna be like, try this with your husband. And you'll be like, mom, no. And she'll be like, nah, trust me. That's all she had to say. I was just like, oh, if that's what we're playing, like, let's go. I got you. I doubled down. In high school, I started like, you know, playing with boys, giving head, and my mom knew. She knew about all of it. And I know there was one time I was in Georgia on the phone with her, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, this guy went down on me and made my foot shake. It was great. And she was just laughing like, I can't believe you're telling me this. And I'm like, yep, you threw down the gauntlet, and I showed up and was like, let's double down, ma. Like, let me make you uncomfortable. Like, yeah, good luck. So my mom had like a really big framework for it. She like presented different ideas that I wanted to explore and test out and like play with. And I'm like pretty sure she mentioned something about like blue balls actually hurts for men, and to like make sure you get them off. And like that was part of like what I operated by. I was like, oh, if I'm teasing you and turning you on, then obviously I've got to finish it. And as I've like gone through different experiences of like doing my best to like take care of what I started, I see, oh wait, that's not necessarily the most healthy way to operate, because my existence is turn on. Like, I can't just walk into a room and satisfy every person who wants me. I mean, I probably could, but I probably don't know them. They might not be clean. We ain't related like that. But to have that as a start where it's fun, it's something worth exploring, really makes a difference, I believe. So any sexual shame that I've had was learned. I read books about it, I did research on it, and it's like, oh yes, I should not do this. Oh, if you masturbate, you're gonna get hair on your hand, it's gonna be bad. It's like, yeah, so bad. I don't want that. It's like, let me practice feeling shameful for this. And then people would gossip about me, and it's like, oh yes, I am a bad girl. I need to change my ways. Like, ooh, Lord help me. And it was just like, but it was like one of those things where it's like, I know I'm supposed to feel bad about this. And I think the thing I felt worse about was like, wow, y'all aren't even going to give me a chance. I'm amazing. I would make a great friend. So you're missing out. But outside of that, I don't care. I like, sex is fun. It's natural. It's something that animals do. Why do we have to make it into this whole big deal? because of expectations and wanting it to become more, and because we're supposed to treat it as like this very stoic, responsible thing. So I didn't get that indoctrination. I like learned it and like try to follow it. Like a lot of the things that I do are more, oh, I learned this is how we're supposed to be, so let me do that. Or I learned this is how I'm supposed to be, so let me do the opposite of that. And my mom was definitely like fundamental in me becoming who I am. Like she's just such a great person and I love her. And outside of my mom, I would always have like a perverted group of friends who had minds in the gutter, and I would say something that was double entendre and they'd call it out, and I was like, oh, I gotta get better with this, I gotta get better, I can't keep slipping like that. So like they taught me to kind of have an awareness that sometimes we'll say things and it sounds normal and it's like, oh wait, that's a little pervy. And they would also, I had groups, I've always had at least one or two people in my life who encourage self-exploration, who encourage doing sexual things that like aren't necessarily in the norm. So in high school, I definitely have people say you have to touch your body before you can get to know someone else's. I would explore sharing pictures of my body, and people would offer like, hey, have you tried touching yourself? Have you stuck a finger in? Have you, like where are you at? And like, what's next? And even now I have a friend who's definitely into like the BDSM space, who can do rope tying and DOMs and has all these different experiences. And I'll be like, oh my gosh, like that sounds cool. How do I get involved? And so he'll point me in the direction, like if you want to get into kink, you can try FetLife. If you want to explore this, do that. If you're really curious, there's a BDSM test, so you can see what does it seem like could work for you. And don't take the test as like God, like it's not 100%. It's like just kind of use it as a starting point so you can explore. Also, if you want to become like this is a hypothetical, but it's possible, but like it's not a guaranteed or anything. But this friend also is into filming for the adult film industry and knows different things about it, and was like, if you're gonna be a cam girl or even try getting into porn, like record yourself giving head. Like it's an experience that not everyone can handle. It's very shocking, confronting. Like try this out and see how it feels so that you can like warm up to the idea and expand yourself. And so this person also helped me with like anal training. Like I had no idea what an enema was, and I was like, whoa, mind blown. And literally the first time I did an enema was with this person. They helped me out through that experience, and it was interesting. And it's having people in your life who are sex positive, who are able to understand pleasure and exploration and willing to offer advice can make such a huge difference in developing into a sexual being, or that sexual freedom that's needed. Because this person has a partner who was raised in a very religious space, and through their relationship that partner is able to expand and open up and blossom. And it's like for me, it's like, oh, I'm a little bit jealous, wish I was your partner and having fun with you. And there's also this element of, wow, that's amazing how you two are growing together and exploring and finding a way to shed this shame around sexuality and what could be natural and beautiful. So my mom had a huge impact on me becoming who I am. My friends and the people that I've surrounded myself with who are all into sexuality, just having the framework that it's fun, having the framework of be safe and trust the person you're with, and just having the space to be okay with myself and what I bring to the table makes such a huge difference. So I don't know what blocks you're dealing with or how you may be stuck or stopped in the realm of sexuality and relationships, but as you allow yourself to just relax into the turn on, embrace your body and what it does, and honor your kinks. Don't yuck someone's yum is what's been coming up lately for me. And let's not yuck our own yums. Like if you like something weird, it's okay. It's personal and private until you choose to share it with someone else. So I also feel like there's this inner dialogue that we all have, and sometimes I think people think that other people can hear that. We can't. I mean, we might get the vibe of like you're not happy because like you're thinking unhappy thoughts and it kind of projects on your face or like in your demeanor, but we have more privacy than we allow ourselves to understand. And even if people can read you, it's like, I can't read the details of your mind, but I can, like, we have energy and stuff. But I hope this was fun. I'll probably like share more. I will tomorrow, every day. It's fun. Have a wonderful day. I hope you find a way to be at peace with yourself and what you're creating in the world, and that whatever is stopping you, blocking you, holding you back, it's only temporary. This too shall pass.